Welcome to Music She Missed, the podcast where I try to get my best friend caught up on some of the most popular songs and artists that impact our lives. I'm Alison.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I missed all the music.
You sure did.
I did, but you're helping me out. You're a good friend.
I'm doing my best.
Yes, you are.
So, Rachel, we are in the throes of season 3.
Yes, we are.
We have made some, big progress. Yeah. So we're not even going to deal with the, tangentially related question.
Really?
No. Got something different.
Okay.
So.
I think I'm okay with this.
Okay. I think you are. You will
I'm
be.
saying it to myself. I'm okay.
You're going to be okay. So, here's my question for you.
Huh.
We're starting a new genre today.
Uh-oh.
Why do you say uh-oh?
Because I didn't like Nirvana.
Well, what does Nirvana have to do with anything?
I didn't like him. Or them. Or that band.
Okay. It's nothing like Nirvana.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay. Good, I'm happy.
So the genre that we are introducing
really
this week for the first time is country.
Oh. So, wait a second. Am I going to like this?
I don't know.
Is it twangy and it's sounds like someone's whining?
Well, okay, first of all, you obviously have an opinion about country. So what's your opinion?
Well, we kind of don't want to say where we live, but we kind of live in a place where it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
does something popular make it bad?
And I'm a city girl. I'm not a country girl.
Okay, so
I love the city.
Yes.
When I fall asleep, I love sound, and right. I listen to sound when I fall asleep.
So, is your main objection to country music that it is about country things?
Yeah, and then also there's a lot of dead dogs, and I like dogs.
I think that's probably a gross representation of country music. So,
but it is a representation. So
it's a stereotype. So, so perhaps it's the content, the lyrical content of country music that you don't like?
And it sounds a little whiny.
Okay, so, and...
Because they're whining about their dead dog.
It's not really about dead dogs.
Oh, maybe the country song that I know is about a dead dog.
So that's a good question, is what country music have you heard?
Some song about a dead dog.
Are you sure you're not just hearing people making fun of country music by pretending that it's about dead dogs?
Sure, let's go with that.
Do you have any foundation for...
Other than Shania Twain, from that CD that my dad thought it was...
Right.
He wasn't sure about it.
A CD which you maybe didn't open.
Yeah, I think it still has plastic on it.
All right, so...
Because the title of the song was, Man, I Wish I Was a Woman, or a woman...
I feel like a woman.
Yeah, something like that. And so he wasn't sure about if it was some woman trying to be a man or a man trying to be a woman, so...
So let me ask you this. So right now, you have a presupposition about what country music is.
Yes.
And whether or not you're going to like it. But it seems to be based on very...
Not real
sparse
stuff.
Evidence.
Okay, you're right.
Okay, so I want you to give it a go. And the artist that we're going to introduce this week is not what you're probably thinking of stereotypical country music with the dead dog, blah, 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 blah. This is different, it's older, and I think that you might even like it.
Let's see.
Open your heart.
I really like
so we can do a drum roll.
I really like last week, so
okay,
here we go.
It's Johnny Cash.
Oh, I've seen his TV show.
What TV show?
Not a show. That movie with Reese Witherspoon. And she's really in a cute A-line dress, and I think it's a yellow one. I love the color yellow.
Okay. So you've seen Walk the Line. Did you like that movie?
I did. He was in jail. No, wait, he sang in jail.
Yes.
Something like that.
That's one of his famous, popular songs.
Didn't he die?
Yes.
And wasn't he a guest? Oh, he was on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
I have no knowledge of that.
He was.
Okay. This is your TV movie knowledge coming out where I don't really have that. So you are aware that Johnny Cash is a person.
He is no, he's dead.
But he's a person.
He's a person.
He's like a musician. You've heard of him.
My friend named her son Cash after him.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
her son's name is Cash.
That's kind of crazy.
I guess that's a normal thing here in the South. I don't know.
That's the only Cash I would have met. I'm going to throw some Johnny Cash songs at you.
Yeah, go for it.
Rate or get a little grip on what you know.
Okay,
so
go for it.
So you know It's Folsom Prison Blues.
Is that prison song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know that song, but honestly, right now, I couldn't even pull out a line from it.
That's all right.
So he's country?
Yeah. Let me give you some other titles. Have you heard God's Gonna Cut You Down?
Pass.
Okay. The Man Comes Around?
Pass.
All right. Solitary Man?
Pass. Are any of these songs from the movie?
I don't know which songs are in the movie.
Really?
Hurt. This is a big one.
Pass.
Ring of Fire.
Oh, he sings that, and I think my grandmother would say a couple lines from that.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down.
And doesn't he say, you know when to hold them and fold them?
No.
Is that him? From that song?
No, that's a Kenny Rogers song.
Oh, I don't know who Kenny Rogers is.
That's all right.
But I know that part of the holding and folding.
So let me give you one more song here, and it's called "I Walk the Line."
Oh, that was the movie of the title of the movie. So.
Yeah, but would you, if you heard the song, would you be like, "Hey, that's Johnny Cash"?
Nope.
Probably not.
Sorry.
All right.
So there's part of the movie I remember, and there's part of the movie I don't.
You remember the costumes?
I remember the A-line dress that she had. It was really cute.
Okay. So, you've seen the movie about his life.
A while ago. I think I own it.
Okay.
It's out of the plastic, so that's good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate your current knowledge of Johnny Cash?
I would say it's above a 3. So maybe a 4? Maybe a 5. Maybe a 4.
I would not say that this is a 5.
No.
I think you've seen a movie about Johnny Cash, and that's it.
Yeah, so I would say 3, maybe 4.
I think 3 is, for you, this is probably a 3.
Okay, 3.
Because this is somebody that you are aware of as a musician, and I said a song and you knew what it was.
So this is country. Johnny Cash is country.
Yeah, he's old country. And this is
Okay.
not like what you kind of would hear on the radio, pop country.
So he's
now.
not that popular?
No, he's super popular. It's just like it's like saying
So he's not on the radio?
it's like oldies for country.
Oh, okay.
But so we'll talk more about his music and his style and all of that stuff next time. But before we go to the break, I do have a special announcement for you.
Ooh.
This episode, because I don't like country music, we're going to have a guest host.
Who is that?
It's our most popular guest host. It's Aaron.
Oh, I like Aaron. He's cool. He helps out a lot.
He does. And he knows a lot about Johnny Cash and is happy
Really?
to share it with you.
He's into country.
He's into Johnny Cash.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I want to impress
Because he's the one that did Black Sabbath with
Right.
us. And Black Sabbath does not sound like Johnny Cash.
Well, so here's the thing about Johnny Cash is that Johnny Cash is the kind of country music that people who don't like country will still like. And that's why I wanted you to have an open mind.
Okay.
Because we're going into this genre, but it's very, very likable outside of the country genre.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Awesome.
And this is a Johnny with an H, right?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Okay.
Johnny with an H. So, you've got some homework.
Yes, I do. I get to listen to Spotify for 1 hour a day.
Yep, Aaron and I have created for you a Johnny Cash playlist that you're going to listen to all week, and then we'll come back together and talk about your experience.
One question, though. Can I listen to this with my family?
So I would say, yes, you could probably listen to most of these songs. There's not going to be a lot of explicit language, but some of the topics and the content might be a little rough for your kindergartner. Okay. So I would listen to it first. Okay. And make your judgments.
Make
maybe
my parent
move
choice.
some of the songs into a separate playlist that you could listen to with your family.
Yeah.
The ones that you like or that, don't have any kinds of violent undertones.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
This will be an interesting week. Country. I can
is.
do it.
I think you can do it. I think you're going to have a good time.
All right. Sounds good. Plus, Aaron will be there on the second half. He'll make it all better.
All right, Rachel. We'll see you next week, and audience will be back with you in just a minute.
See you then.
Welcome back. Rachel, you spent the last week listening to Johnny Cash, but before you tell us how it went, let's greet our special guest host of the week, Aaron.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for being here, Aaron.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. It's always a pleasure having you.
Definitely. It's always fun to be here.
Awesome. Well,
all right, we got that out of the way. What'd you think about your week?
I'm not sure. Like, I had this conflict within myself where I have been ingrained for so many years, you are not allowed to like country.
By who?
You know,
yourself?
May it be it's because I'm a Yankees fan, or, you know, I'm from up north, but I live down the south, and I have just that conflict.
So you feel like admitting that you enjoyed this week would be a betrayal of your Yankee roots.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was born and raised in Texas, but I've always kind of felt the same way.
Really? I didn't know that.
I was always super annoyed by, and I think a lot of, there are many country fans who feel annoyed by the country that gets portrayed on Top 40 radio. And a lot of people are not satisfied with the mainstream of today's country music.
And I think it's important to note as well that Johnny Cash is not merely a country music guy.
What does he do? Like,
well, you could say that his music fulfills the aspects of a lot of different genres: rock and roll, blues, folk, gospel, even, right?
I can hear the blues, the folk, and the gospel.
Yeah, and rock and roll. Like, I was listening to the Spotify playlist that I made of Johnny Cash this week, and when it ends, you know how it'll keep playing songs that are kind of like in the same vein of what you've been listening to?
Yeah.
So it started playing Bob Dylan, Buddy Holly, Patsy Cline. Like, it started going and then it was playing the Kinks. It was playing like all different kinds of stuff, and I was like, this is exactly it, because Johnny Cash is like compatible with a lot of different genres. I mean, Elvis. I mean, you could go so many different directions.
Yeah, he started off as what you'd call rockabilly,
yes,
which is like hillbilly rock and roll, which is what you would think of when you think of Elvis Presley and Buddy Holly.
I think I know Elvis, because doesn't he have a jail song?
He does.
He does.
Okay. So, yeah.
It's a Southern music theme. Jail.
Yeah.
Do they all go to jail? Now, okay. So I have a couple questions about the songs that I was listening to this week.
Okay.
That Folsom Blues Prison song.
Folsom Prison Blues.
Is that, did he write that? Who wrote his stuff?
So he wrote a lot of his music, but a lot of his music were what you call standards, kind of like what Ella Fitzgerald would do.
Yeah.
He would take traditional songs and perform those. Folsom Prison Blues in particular is interesting because he adapted that from an existing song
called Crescent City
Blues,
which I listened to this afternoon, and I was like, yep, that's pretty much the same song.
It would make you actually feel bad about Johnny Cash for a minute, because you'd think, oh my gosh, he's just a rip-off guy. But the story behind it is actually he wrote it when he was just having fun with his buddies in the army, and they had a little band over in Germany, and he just wrote it for fun. He never thought he was going to be a rock and roll star.
Right. He heard this song called Crescent City Blues and like changed the lyrics and turned it into the song that you heard.
Because he had a passion for...
so he wasn't ever in jail?
He may have spent a night or two in jail.
But it wasn't from this song?
Yeah, he didn't murder anyone.
He didn't kill someone in Reno.
Correct.
That's what I was curious about.
Fair. I mean, hey, you never know. People have written music in jail and stuff. He was just basically putting himself in the shoes of a prisoner, trying to have
that's what I figured.
Empathy for them.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing for him, is trying to like forgive the unforgivable and empathy for the less fortunate and that kind of thing. But that line about shooting someone in Reno is one of the most famous lines in all of country music.
Yes.
He said he just he used his imagination to think of the worst reason possible to kill somebody.
Why did it have to be in Reno?
That's a great question, because if you killed someone in Reno, you're not going to jail in California. So I guess you'd go to jail in Nevada. Or federal prison or something. But like Folsom Prison's like a California state penitentiary.
I bet it's for the musical 2-syllable sounds right in the song.
And it's a very Western It's a famous Western city, and in country music, you kind of have all these iconic Western images.
Yeah.
And Reno, it probably fits that bill.
But to get to it's the end of the story, so he comes out with this song, and it's a hit. But
yeah,
does someone ever like say, "Hey, you stole my song"?
Yes. Now the funny thing is, he told his record producer, "Hey, you guys, I kind of stole these lyrics."
No, the song, the music.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of like he told them that what he did.
Okay.
And so, but the record producer, who I think was kind of a jerk,
said, "Okay, move on."
Oh yeah, just don't worry
Life goes
about
on.
it.
Who
Just
cares?
don't worry about it. And then he got sued for $75,000, which is about $500,000 in today's money.
Huh.
But he settled up. He paid the original writer what he was owed.
Yeah, so some of the songs, so in answer to your question, that was a super rabbit trail, but something we meant to explain to you. Yeah. But some of the songs that you heard are covers of pop songs. Some of them are standards, and some of them are originals. And so if there's a specific song you want to talk about, we can tell you which.
That was one of the biggest songs that I wanted to talk about, and probably Cry, Cry, Cry was another one. Did he write that one?
He did write that one.
Huh.
And that is a very, of course, sort of an emblematic country music song. It's the subject matter is about infidelity, which is a huge theme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, country music songs aren't usually simple love songs where I love you so much. Let me count the ways. It's usually like, I love you and you done me wrong, you know?
Yeah.
But that was his first hit in like 1950.
That was his first one.
That's right.
1953 or mid-50s.
Okay.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk a little bit about his history?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he grew up in Arkansas in the Depression. He
on a farm, I believe.
That's right. And growing up in the Depression really shaped his outlook on music, or rather politics, and you'll see that in like the Man in Black song. It gave him a heart for worrying about, for taking care of the less fortunate among us, because he grew up in poverty.
And his family was also very religious, like kind of, fundamentalist, kind of Southern Baptist-y.
This is true, yeah. He had a very religious upbringing, which I think was probably common.
Oh, yeah,
time.
sure.
Yeah.
Just also emphasizing the taking care of the less fortunate.
Sure. And there was an incident when he was younger where his brother died in an industrial accident.
Oh.
Yeah, it was depicted in the movie Walk the Line.
Oh, I don't remember that
somewhat
part.
accurately. Yeah, he was basically cut in half.
Ew.
By an
Did
industrial
he
saw.
watch him?
I think it was more like the accident happened and then he like lingered for a week before he died.
Yes.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
awful.
He was cut almost
and
in
I'm
half.
guessing he was like
And survived for a
close
week.
with his brother, and to see his
Yes.
brother go through that week of pain. Torture
He
pain.
never got over it.
I bet not.
Through his whole life. I mean, he lived to be very old. He
70s.
lived in his 70s, and
Yeah, he was really old when he was. Well, I wouldn't say really old, but he was older when he did Dr. Quinn.
I never did see Dr. Quinn.
He actually gets out his guitar and he sings a song in the show.
Oh, that's
And
great.
it's about Thanksgiving or something. I just remember that.
Oh, I've got to see that sometime.
Back to the history.
Back to the history,
Well, that's
exactly.
part of his history in some ways. Throughout his career, he showed up in movies and TV a lot. But anyway, after growing up during the Depression, he spent some time in a military base in Germany. He was in the Air Force. He was a radio operator.
Huh.
And
I wonder if he went to Ramstein.
I forget that that's a city.
Ramstein
you
Air
just
Force
immediately hearing like, do us.
Rammstein. Yeah, there's a band called Rammstein as well.
I know.
Oh,
You-
And
really?
they talk about balloons.
That's
That's
Nena.
not them.
That's not them?
99 Luftballons?
Yeah.
That's Nena.
That's a different German band.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do know. Wait, no. The balloons I remember.
We will probably not be covering Rammstein.
We can make that a bonus episode. Songs from German bands. For some reason.
Or we can just do like Europe and then maybe Asia. And maybe Africa. Okay,
Those
moving
are both
on.
bands, by the way, Europe and Asia.
It's true.
Okay. So when he was in the military, he wrote Folsom Prison Blues. He got back.
But you said his Cry, Cry, Cry was his number one. First one.
First like hit.
So who did so he recorded and wrote Folsom Prison first, but then wrote...
He wrote it. So writing a song and then recording
so he saved it for later.
Yeah, these days musicians probably record songs almost immediately after they write them in a lot of cases. But not so. Recording equipment was not as available back in the day, so people might write them and just perform them for a long time before they ever record them.
Okay.
So he wrote Folsom Prison Blues in early 50s during the Korean War, and it wasn't until late 50s that he ended up recording it at Sun Records.
So wait a second. Okay, this is totally a tangent, but he was stationed in Germany during the Korean War?
That's right, yeah.
Post-World War II.
Okay, gotcha.
You know.
They were monitoring Soviet communications from Germany.
Okay, I was just wondering what he was working on.
Yeah, it's an intelligence operation, basically. He wasn't in any real danger for the most part.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so, and then
he came back to was he always in the military, and then that's how he got popular, or where did he get found?
Oh, okay, so he was in the military for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And then, basically, he got the courage up to just go into the recording studio and try to sell him his music.
Off the streets.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember that from the movie. No, I don't remember.
Yeah, in the movie.
And he was denied, right?
Initially, he wanted to, he and his band, the Tennessee Three, they wanted to do gospel music. Because that was his main thing, really, having come from a religious background. And, a lot of people who play in gospel music, they get to practice so much, every Sunday. So that was what he knew, was gospel music. But the producer wanted edgier, like rock and roll type stuff, and would not let him do gospel music at first.
Huh.
But he, throughout his career, he got to do everything from rockabilly, country western, and eventually lots and lots of gospel music. So if you liked that, and what there was of the gospel music on the playlist, there's plenty more of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Erin was telling me that there's like a best of album that's 3 parts.
Oh, yes.
And I just loved the title of it.
It was Love, God, and Murder.
Love, God, and Murder. Wow, he has that much music?
Oh, he has so much music.
So much.
So how many awards and things does he have, too?
Oh.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
I lost count at some point, I'm sure.
Is he in, like, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
And the Country Music Hall of Fame. So that's kind of what we were talking about before. It's kind of like a unique thing that he's in.
He's in one Hall of Fame.
He also has won several Grammys for both country music albums and others, as well as like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh.
And what else?
There's no telling how he probably won gospel awards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then the Video Music Award.
Yes. Yeah, the video for Hurt that he did was a lot of people consider one of the best ever.
Yeah, and definitely the best of 2003.
Definitely.
Or whatever year that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. So this is me and my ignorance. I'm just asking. So Dolly Parton, the one that has Dollywood, she's country.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay. Is she friends with Johnny Cash?
I think they must have been.
Do you think?
I would assume so.
Because one of the songs that I was like listening to, and I remember this a little bit from the DVD, he sings with this one lady. Oh, what's her name?
Oh, June.
Yeah.
June, his wife.
Yes.
June
But
Carter
he really
Cash.
cheated, if I'm remembering on the DVD, he cheated on his wife and got with this June chick.
Well, he was married twice. So his first wife, whose name is Vivian.
And that's the one with the 3 girls.
4, actually. They have 4 kids. The oldest of whom is a country singer in her own right.
Roseanne Cash.
Yeah. And they got divorced due to, affairs, and also, his drug addiction.
Oh, that's right. I remember that part of the movie.
He got into amphetamines almost. He probably didn't know any better at the time, but they would just take them just to be able to perform.
Lots of the Beatles did that too, back when they were touring.
Huh. Okay. And so, did he ever do because I remember that one song that he did like a duet, not a duet, like 4 guys.
Oh, yes.
And so I know we're not talking about likes and dislikes yet, but I do want to mention that song of, I just didn't like it because I could recognize his voice. I just couldn't recognize the rest of the voices, and so it kind of distracted me. And
The song you're talking about is the
Highwaymen.
Highwaymen it's a quartet.
yes, and like one of the names is Willie Nelson. I think I've heard of the name, but I don't know any of his music.
So all four of those gentlemen are very well. It's basically what you call a super group, where people get famous separately
Oh,
and then come together to. It's sort of a gimmick where they release an album of them all working together.
oh, okay.
So if you like that genre of music, then you would really like the supergroup.
It doesn't work out all that well a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's not I can't think of very many supergroups that I'm interested in. But
Okay.
It's kind of fun for the fans, and it would be a lot more fun for you if you recognized all four of those voices.
Yeah, I couldn't recognize all of them, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this one on my dislike.
That's a weird song for Johnny Cash to be singing, though, because he's singing about being in a spaceship at the end. Did you notice that?
Really?
At the end, he's talking about being like someone who travels across the stars and gets reincarnated as a drop of rain. Very out there and hippy-dippy for Johnny Cash.
yeah. So you did mention you mentioned June.
Uh-huh.
So he's divorced from his first wife. He
Marries
married
June.
her, but after she wouldn't marry him until he got clean.
He got clean, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's important.
Say no to drugs.
Exactly.
Good job, June. Good job, June.
Yeah, I don't know that took 100%.
Not 100%. I think he had some relapse.
relapses. Yeah.
Okay.
But they did stay married until
Did they have kids?
They had
One.
one kid.
So he had 4 daughters. His oldest daughter is a country singer. Is the other kid a country?
I don't know of any of the others to have a significant country career.
Okay.
I don't think any of them are famous for anything
Okay.
apart from Roseanne Cash.
So going back to the Dolly Parton part of where she's really famous, is there like, I've never been to Dollywood, nor do I think I ever will.
maybe
But-
you will after the Dolly Parton episode.
Oh, we're gonna have a Dolly Parton episode. Okay.
No, well, not like in the near future.
Is he that high and that like popular?
Yeah.
So
The
he could have a Johnny Cash world.
oh God, well, it wouldn't be much fun. I don't think.
Well, if he's that good of a singer.
I mean, I don't associate him with Good Times and the Get
Yeah.
Rhythm section. Of the,
Yeah, I
of
like
the-
that song, Get Rhythm.
That's his
Ooh,
most fun song, probably.
That is.
A
I
lot
had
of
fun with that song, with my daughter at least.
a lot of his other songs are very serious.
They are.
he has a message.
He does.
Although he can be funny at times. He has
Sure.
like a Boy Named Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think is funny. I don't know. It was probably a lot funnier at the
I
time.
thought it was like more of like jokey-ish. It was just like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm fooling around.
Mm-hmm.
These
Yeah.
words work together. I'm, strumming along, having fun with the lyrics kind of thing.
There was a lot of that in country music. It still is. A lot of novelty stuff because the lyrics are usually so clear. It's a good vehicle for that kind of thing.
That's kind of to me more folksy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned he was into gospel, but the recording manager kind of just wanted him to do rock and roll. So did this manager kind of guy provide training or say, because if he was like all about the gospel and he wanted him to do more rock and roll, do they provide training or not really? Or is his...
You mean vocal training?
Yeah. It's just Johnny Cash, just Johnny Cash.
I think that is the case. I read something, and I am not sure if this is true, but I read that Johnny's mom noticed his ability to sing, like took him to get voice lessons, and that the voice teacher was like, "I'm not going to mess with this. Like your baritone voice is really good." Like,
Yeah. He's got a naturally
He does. And
special voice.
I can
Yes.
hear that in the song Hurt.
yes,
And I honestly, I didn't like the song because of how deep it was. And I was just like, this wasn't something I could sing along with. And it was just like, and I was like,
zombie
that-
Johnny Cash over there.
Oh no.
Johnny Cash. And
he's
that's not
much-
him at all. Like,
Well,
he's
so
not
that-
like
He's
a
much
zombie.
older on that.
Yeah.
He's actually near death.
Really?
I
on
think
that
he
album.
died that same year, or
The
pretty
thing
close.
That's one of my favorite Johnny Cash songs, and it's a cover of a 90s hard rock. How do you describe Nine Inch Nails? It's I'd say they're industrial, but you wouldn't really know what that meant, right?
Nope.
A 90s
electronic,
heavy-ish,
heavy, like almost very dark,
very dark 90s rock band.
Okay, and so
Called Nine Inch Nails.
He's covering them.
Yes.
Right.
And so the
Interesting.
style is like...
It's night and day, the difference between like the instrumentation.
Huh.
And the thing that's so great about that song is how well the lyrics, it's all about the lyrics on that one. The way they apply to Johnny Cash. He took a line and changed it and improved. I think and a lot of people agree, he improved the song. So he changed the line, "I wear this crown of..." Thank you. And he changed it to "crown of thorns on my liar's chair." And what he's talking about there is how he's got an image as sort of like a gospel singer,
Yeah.
religious, but he's saying, no, I'm guilty. I'm not worthy. I'm...
to wear
Right.
a crown.
And I'm on my liar's chair. And it has an air of fatality to it, like where he says, if I could start again a million miles away, and at the end, it's really at the end of his life, he's saying that.
Huh.
And it was very affecting to see that. And then, like, I don't know, weeks later, months later, when I'm still watching the video, he dies right after that. Right after it came out.
It kind of reminds me, and I know we don't normally cross artist talk, but it reminds me a little bit of David Bowie's last album.
Oh, yes.
And talking of, his kind of like knowing that the end is near as well.
There's a whole list of artists who released songs right before they died that are kind of about how they're dying.
Yeah.
So it's like he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Rachel, I know you like history.
I do.
And Aaron has a really interesting story about Johnny Cash meeting a former president. that I
Really?
think
Which
you would find
president?
Interesting.
So the first president he met was Richard Nixon.
Ah, the one that has the presidential library in California.
Okay. Well, Nixon invited Johnny Cash to the White House to play. He requested 3 songs.
That'd be
And
cool. I want to
yeah.
request some songs.
So Nixon requested a song called "Okie from Muskogee,"
Okay.
which is making fun of hippies
And war protesters.
and war protesters.
This is 1970. I don't know if we...
Yeah, I could see Nixon requesting that.
Mhm.
Okay.
He requested "Welfare Cadillac."
Is that one on our list?
No,
this is-
neither of these are Johnny Cash
Yeah, these are not Johnny
songs.
Cash songs. He wanted to hear other people's songs from Johnny Cash.
Oh, okay.
But this Welfare Cadillac song...
It's awful. It's basically he's complaining about people who are on welfare but can afford Cadillacs, and he's just it's awful. He's just saying, like, I don't do no work, but the government takes care of me. Boop boop. And that's the whole song, is like complaining about poor people, and obviously Johnny Cash is not into that.
Right.
So
He also
So why
requested
did he-
A Boy Named Sue.
Oh, right. So he did request
Oh,
one,
okay.
probably the worst Johnny Cash song to some people, but a really popular one.
So why did Johnny Cash say yes to this invitation if the song that
Well,
he wanted him to sing was like, well...
he showed up and played 3 other songs.
Oh!
Well, he did play A Boy Named Sue, but he didn't play that.
Right.
He didn't play the two,
The
like,
2
offensive
first ones. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
He played a protest song instead. The Ballad of Ira
Hayes.
Hayes. Ira Hayes was one of the 3 men, or one of the several men, who raised the flag over Iwo Jima.
Uh-huh.
He was a Native American, and he got treated very poorly when he returned home. So Johnny Cash had been known to perform this song about him.
I think I read his biography book.
Ira Hayes?
A few years ago.
Oh, okay.
I lived outside of Washington, D.C., and I love seeing all the monuments, and so I wanted to get to know that stuff. Moving on. But yes, Johnny Cash.
Yeah, so he played song kind of opposite to what Richard Nixon had wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Also Man in Black, which is on your playlist.
Right.
And that one is, I think, did we talk about it a little bit earlier, but the message of the song is him saying, like, I'm wearing black because there are all of these problems, and people are dying in Vietnam, and he hopes that one day it won't be like that, but until it is, he's wearing black.
Yeah, that's kind of his like mission statement, as it were.
Yeah.
To use a corny phrase, but he's really saying what he's all about in that one song. That's a very important one. And he is known as the Man in Black because he always wears a black coat.
Well, that's
all
what he
black for the most part.
wore in Dr. Quinn. I swear, I'm mentioning this a lot. So you might want to watch
this. This is your Johnny Cash point of reference, not Walk the Line.
Well, no,
Dr.
he
Quinn.
was, yeah, he wore black, all of it was black in the show. So after Richard Nixon gets his 3 songs and he realizes 2 of them are not what he wanted, did he not have a good relationship with Johnny afterwards?
Actually, they were friendly afterwards. There's a quote from Richard Nixon where it says,
Nixon joked, the one thing he'd learned about the singer was that one didn't tell him what to sing.
yeah. So it seems like he still had respect for him afterwards, or was at least being polite about it.
Yeah, being polite,
publicly.
but at least like saying, hey, I noticed you still didn't play my songs.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about Johnny Cash, and there's so many other stories we could tell, and other things in his life. But I think we'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear what are the songs, and you've mentioned some of them, the ones you really liked, and also what you didn't like, and maybe just your general perceptions.
So another thing, I didn't give much time to talk about it, but Get Rhythm, yeah. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite songs. I just thought it was lots of fun, and that honestly goes well with just what I liked before with other stuff. It's just very upbeat, and so that was fun, and I like the drums on that.
That song has a I'm not sure if this is the right word, like kind of a skiffly kind of sound. I like songs that sound like you're on a train. The chicka 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 is like the background.
That's a big country western thing. Is having a beat that sounds either like a horse, or a train, or other ways of getting around in the old west.
I'm a sucker for train rhythms.
Well, Johnny Cash is definitely for you.
And you don't even like country.
But I especially like that rhythm when you find it in a song that isn't that genre. Like, then I'm even more attracted to it. And I don't know why.
I like things that sound like... I like music that sounds like things in general. If I can hear either like something sounds like a train or a horse, or in some of my metal bands sounds like a machine gun. That's all fun for me.
Yeah, Black Sabbath is more machine gun.
So you like Get Rhythm?
Yes, I like that one. I like the Ring of Fire. I thought that was a fun song of just his... I'm guessing he wrote that one, right?
That is in dispute, actually.
Really?
June has the writing credits for it, but Johnny Cash's ex-wife says Johnny wrote it and gave June the credit because she needed the money. But I don't know if we should believe her or not. She might be a little biased.
Well, I like the song anyways.
I did too. That was the first one I ever heard.
Really?
Do you like the horns on that one? I know you like horns in general.
I do. I did like the horns on that one. And the other song I really liked was Walk the Line. There was a similarity of Ring of Fire and Walk the Line that I think both of them I liked because of the same reasons. And I don't know what that reason is, because maybe I don't know Johnny Cash's music very well. So I was wondering if maybe you could help me out. Why do I like those two songs together?
Well, there's always a lot of sincerity in Johnny Cash's lyrics. I don't know if that... You feel like he means everything he's saying.
He sings from his heart, but he's going through so much in his heart.
Right. Like, because even though he's saying... I will be faithful. I'll be a good boy.
I'll walk the line.
We know he didn't always live up to that.
No, he struggled.
But he sure did his best.
Yes, and then same thing with Ring of Fire. Just like he's talking about this love and passion, and so he's just sharing his heart and both of them and commitment and
without ever being corny.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why I like those two songs. And I do like Johnny. I think he was a good guy. He struggled in life, but hey, you know what? We all struggle.
I was going to say, don't we all?
Mm-hmm.
So I think overall you're saying that you liked your experience, even though there were a couple songs or maybe things that you didn't fully prefer.
Exactly, where I want to let you know at the beginning of the week I was very hesitant to give my heart to Johnny Cash.
Sure.
Because I've been told left and right not to like country. But I could see where you would ease me in with Johnny Cash compared to some other things that I've heard. So
something that you told me was one of the reasons that you thought you didn't prefer country music is that you didn't like the repetitive music beat. And I wasn't sure what you meant
Yeah.
By that, can you explain what you mean by repetitive music beat?
So I know you like the train thing,
Mhm.
I do, yeah.
and I know you like, maybe the horse, and I think that part, I don't know if I like that
So
part.
it's the particular
Or like
rhythm,
Yeah, maybe the rhythm, but
but you like
I still
rhythm.
like get rhythm. So I don't know. I'm still learning about myself and what I like with music, and then educating myself properly.
So I would say it's a lot of simple rhythms. I think. Yeah, I'm not an expert on that, but would you say, Alison, that generally it's simple rhythms? It's kind of the same. It's
Yeah, I feel like, so to me, his songs, a lot of them, to me kind of seem like sing-along type songs, like in a bar or at a party kind of a thing. And songs like that need to be simple
Right.
so that they repeat so that people can join in.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's necessarily a negative.
No, I guess not.
I wonder if for you, maybe what you mean by the repetitive music beat is like what we were talking about, that kind of shuffly train sound or whatever, is for you still, it has an association of Texan or country or South or something that you have a negative correlation with, like in your head.
Yeah.
And that maybe that what you don't like about that sound is that it's reminiscent of a culture that you haven't bought into.
Yeah, and I would say Johnny Cash is more country of like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, opposed to South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, South. Would you say that's true?
Well, a lot of his subject matter is kind of like that because the popular thing at the time was Western.
Yeah.
I associate him personally more with the Southeast, even though he's from Arkansas. Because he spent so much time in Nashville and
Okay.
areas like that.
Yeah.
But anytime, like, the Ghost Riders in the Sky song, I mean, that's definitely seems Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As is I Shot a Man in Reno to Watch Him Die. That's in the Southwest.
Yeah.
I am not going to claim to be fully knowledgeable of regional country varieties to be able to fully
Answer that.
pontificate on that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm ready to give my rating. Are you ready to receive it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's hear it.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being garbage, 10 being greatness, where would you place the Man in Black?
7. 8. 7.5.
Is that your ultimate
Deal.
response?
Deal. Yes, 7.5. I'm hesitant to give him a full 8. But I was surprised. I really was surprised. I liked Get Rhythm, Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, and yeah.
You surprised yourself.
I
And
did.
I think that's something to keep in mind going forward, is that you didn't think you liked country music, but you had but what you experienced with Johnny Cash is very different than what you expected country music to be.
Yeah.
So I hope that going forward, as we explore more genres and more artists, that you can remember this experience, kind of hold on to it, and you don't know what else might surprise you.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you have something to talk to country music fans about.
I don't know if I have a lot
Should
of
that
friends
happen?
that have country, that love country. I probably do. I just don't talk about music, hence why I don't know about music.
Well, if somebody asks you if you like country music, you can do what I do, which is say, I like Johnny Cash.
Is that what you say?
Yes.
Really?
Me too. And now you can add, and I did a podcast about it.
Go ahead and listen to it.
And you could tell your friends to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe on iTunes, and listen to all the playlists on Spotify. Aaron, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
Thanks
We
for
really
being
appreciate
here.
it.
I had a lot of fun this episode.
I'm glad you did. I did too.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm glad
really?
you
Yes.
put in some history. That was really nice of you.
Oh, there's so much. There's even more we left out.
Yeah.
Really cool. Does he have an autobiography?
I'm
2.
Sure
2, and a movie, which I've seen, but I can't recall.
And he wrote a novel. He's a really interesting guy.
I did not know he
Sounds
wrote a
like-
novel.
That's what I read.
Well, I have to let you borrow the DVD. I think it's somewhere in my DVD collection. So, anyways, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
you, Allison.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks so much, and have a great week.
Bye.
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 Do, 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 do.
Boop.
All right, let's do this music thing. Come on, boys, potatoes in the patty wagon.
Do-do-do-do.